The coming together of experts and election management bodies to Abuja from ECOWAS member nations and Southern African provided an opportunity to identify challenges and share success story in the use of technology in election.
So whatever we can do to consolidate what has been achieved in 2015, we'll do so. And whatever additional value we are going to add to what we achieved in 2015, the Commission is most prepared to do so.
Issues of cost, apathy to the technology, and cybercrime intrusion, as well as other technical issues notwithstanding, Nigeria and other participating countries agree technology in election is the way to go.
We want to ensure that the results are transmitted right from the polling units. And that is why we are in collaboration with NICOMSAT and NISAMA.
If we can have a direct one, each of the polling unit result is transmitted straight to a central server to reduce our problem.
Going forward, political parties, development partners and civil society advise for commitments, standard and consultations with all stakeholders in electoral processes.
Each and single country has to adapt any solution for civil voter registration, for transmission result, to their economic, cultural and political context. Because
is to emphasize the subject, the content of electoral ethics. Everybody know the rules and regulations.
In line with the theme of the conference, opportunities and challenges in the use of technology in elections. For Nigerians, there is no better chance than now, when the country is approaching 2019 elections, to get better equipped from this conference in deepening its electoral process. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Bornokudu, NTA News.
it is important because in the last 3 decades, as in any other field of economy and our daily life, technologies play an increasingly important role when it comes to organizing elections and when it comes as well to the potential increase of transparency, cost effectiveness, credibility of any electoral process if the introduction and use of technology is properly managed. If it is ill-managed, it can actually bring the contrary of what it promised, and therefore the different political parties, candidates and electoral stakeholders will not potentially accept the results that are determined by an increased use of technology that could be considered elitist and too difficult to understand and not bring in simplicity and transparency into the electoral process, which are the most important aspect for any electoral management bodies to work on.
In the use of technology in Nigeria, what kind of support are you giving to the country to use technology?
Actually, through the project we are implementing, the component 1 of the European Union support to democratic governance, we are supporting the Independent National Electoral Commission of Nigeria in different aspects, including considering the advantages and disadvantages of the use or introduction of new information technology in the electoral process. This is why we have, in agreement with INEC, decided to organize this conference, because it's from this kind of conference where you can actually get the lesson learned of what went well and what went less well in different countries, and so to foster peer exchanges and the necessary comparative knowledge in order to be implemented in Nigeria and in the other country. Here we are talking about issues related to the cost of elections, civil voter registration, electoral transmission of results, identification of voters in polling stations, geolocalization of polling stations, and so on and so forth. So these aspects are also aspects that are touching upon the organization of the next elections in Nigeria and also the previous one. So therefore here we have the possibility altogether to increase our collective knowledge about particular processes that are also important here to Nigeria, listen to experiences of all the other electoral commissions in the ECOWAS and all the other electoral commissions in the Southern African Development Community region.
Can we have an idea of financial commitment to this project?
The financial commitment of this project is very clear. It's 13 million euro for the next 5 years, which are dedicated by the European Union to implement the component 1 that is done by the European Center for Electoral Support, to which we are adding 5% of our core funds. So the total of the project for the next 5 years is going to be 13,700,000. However, the European Union has committed other funds throughout this program, so the EU Democratic Governance Support Program in Nigeria, where other Nigerian organizations like YAGA, NIP, Albino Foundation are implementing other components of the project. We have 4 components of the project, and the total component amount is 26 million euro for the next 5 years for the total components.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How has the use of how it has impacted on our electoral system?
First of all, it has to be underlined there is no blueprint solution for any technological innovation to any countries. So therefore, each and single country has to adapt any solution for civil voter registration, for transmission result, to their economic, cultural, and political context, because everything is completely different from one country to another. So, as I was saying, if properly managed, this introduction and use of technology, it can actually bring an increase of transparency and credibility, because if you think well, and if each electoral management bodies give themselves the appropriate time to introduce this technology, to let this technology be understood by the political parties, candidates, and the public opinion, that can definitely increase transparency in an electoral process. However, any introduction of new information technology in any electoral process is strictly related to the trust enjoyed by the electoral management bodies in that particular country that introduced this technology. If there is no trust already in the electoral management body or in the process of the election per se, it's going to be very difficult also for a technological solution or device to increase this transparency. The transparency comes from the trust that the different electoral stakeholders, especially the competitors on elections, political parties and candidates, have in the process. When the confidence is there, when this technological innovation is well explained, also with extensive civic voter education to all the public opinion, then definitely this technological innovation brings transparency.
Lastly, sir, the issue of costs has been a major challenge